With us today, we have ACPA's RJ Product Manager and Senior Analyst, Nishad Dravid. Nishad expertly manages ACPA's extensive range of RJ mod jack connectors and cable assemblies, and plays a pivotal role in driving product growth and identifying opportunities in the expanding market. Thank you for joining us today, Nishad.
Thank you so much, Greta, for the introduction, and welcome everyone for this wonderful webinar that we are going to have on the RJ45s. As you know, RJ45 is not a new connector. It's a modular jack, which was introduced back in the 1970s as a telephone headset, quick connect and disconnect, interconnect connector. And from there, since the 1970s till now, there has been a huge change and the huge varieties of RJ45s that have come in the market. Amphenol has been a key supplier to the market and has over 11,000 active parts that we supply in 50 different series. Briefly, the RJ45s that we supply are segregated into two types. One is the standard performance and the other being the high performance. The standard performance RJs are mainly the Cat3 and the Cat5 performance RJs. In this, we have around 30 plus product series. We have RJs in a single port, a multi-port, a stacked, or a ganged. And we also have various orientations, namely vertical, right angle, and also 45-degree orientations. You can have multiple latch positions with a tab up or tab down. We have with the shielded, unshielded, as well as with the LEDs. When it comes to the high performance, we have around 20 plus product series, which cater to Cat5e, Cat6, and Cat6a performance levels. We have an integrated PCB for signal conditioning, and I will cover that in my upcoming slides. Like the standard performance, we also have a single port and a multi-port options in the high performance, and we have multiple LED options as well as the combinations of RJs and the USBs. So where exactly are these RJs used? The standard performance are mainly used for the 10 base T or 100 base T applications. That's mainly in the telephones or POS terminals or security systems. Whereas the high performance RJs are mainly used in data centers where you need like 100 base T, 10G base T, or 2.5G base T speeds. So what exactly are the performance categories? This is a very typical question that I come across every day. And this is a good chart to kind of explain what they mean. When it comes to a category 3 or a category 5, you're actually looking at around 100 base T or 1000 base T application, which goes up to 100 megahertz and over a cable length of 100 meters at an operating frequency of 100 megahertz. What we need to understand here is that the performance category alone doesn't mean only the speed or the bandwidth that you want to go with. It also means that what is the frequency that we want to operate on, and also what's the cable length on which you want to route the data on. All these three things together define the performance category of the connector. So when you see a Cat5e or a Cat6 or a Cat6a, there is an overlap of speeds. If you see Cat6 and a Cat6a carefully, there's an overlap of 10 Gbps speed. But if you look carefully, it's only up to 55 meters in a Cat6, whereas it's up to 100 meters in a Cat6a. Also, the operating frequency differs between a Cat6 and a Cat6a. Proud to say that Amphenol provides all the 5 types of connectors, right from Cat3 right up to Cat6a. In a standard performance RJs, these are the 7 or 8 different types of performance. These are 7 or 8 different types of categories which we divide the RJs on. So it can be either a Cat3 or a Cat5. It can either be a vertical, a right angle, or a 45-degree. It can be a through hole or a surface mount or a press fit or a sunk fit. It can either be a tab up or a tab down. It can be compatible with a wave soldering or a reflow soldering. And you can also see the kind of LED variety that is available, different plating options that are available, right from gold flash right up to 50 micro-inch of gold plating. And different pin lengths are available. Now, these 9 characteristics, you can have multiple combinations of And any combinations that you can think of, we do have a RJ for that. In addition to that, we also have a very good cost position on these, because the reason being that we have wonderful automated lines back in China, and we do around 14 million RJs every year. So that's the reason why we are very, very competitive on our pricing as well. So when it comes to the features, these are the 8 features on which the RJ is mainly divided on. One is the tab orientation, the very basic one. That means whether you want a latch to be on a tab up or a tab down position. Second is the housing material. It depends on what kind of soldering methodology that you want to have, whether you want to have a wave soldering or a reflow soldering, as well as the color coding, which type of color you want on your housing. The third thing being the contact plating, the kind of plating that you want to have on the contact. It can be as low as a 0.03 microinch, which is a gold flash, or you can have as high as a 50 microinch. Then the number of contacts and the number of positions, which kind of define whether you want a RJ11 or a RJ25, or you want a RJ45 or RJ50. The shielding options, you can have multiple shielding options with the tabs, without the tabs. Also the material of the shielding, you can have bronze, you can have stainless steel. Various LED options, you can have multiple colors in the LED, you can have bicolor LEDs. We also have certain series that we offer with LED light pipes. We have multiple mounting orientations. You can have through hole, you can have surface mount, you can have press fit. And also the number of ports, you can have gagged multiport or a stacked multiport or a simple single port. One more important thing about the RJ connectors is the PoE compatibility. So all the Amphenol RJs are compatible up to PoE type 4. That means each of the pair can carry up to 960 milliamperes of current and can deliver up to 100 watts of power. When it comes to shielding and filtering, we have multiple options available in the shielding. One is with the copper alloy plated with matte tin over nickel, and second is the stainless steel. We have multiple options available on the EMI tabs as well, whether you want the RJ with the tabs, without the tabs, and also whether you want the tabs on the top, bottom, side, or only on the top and the side. We can have multiple options worked out for you. The options with the ferrite filtering are also available, which kind of protect us against the high frequency EMI. As I said earlier, we have multiple options in the RJs, right from RJ11, which is a 6-position 2-contact design, to RJ50, which is a 10-position 10-contact design. When it comes to housing materials, we have 3 basic types of materials. One is the thermoplastic polymer, which is a very basic one, which can be heat resistant up to 200 degrees centigrade, and which are very, very good and compatible for simple wave soldering applications, which are more of a cost sensitive applications. When it comes to reflow soldering, or you want a high temperature application, then we offer our high temperature polyamide, which can go up to 290 degrees centigrade. Along with that, we also have halogen-free nylon, which are provided as an option where the customer needs halogen-free housing. All the housings, be it thermoplastic or halogen-free, are all ROHS compliant and are UL94V flame retardant. They are also available in multiple colors if the customer wants it sometimes they want to kind of color code it for a different application. So we can always make a housing with a particular color. When it comes to LEDs, this is a range of a standard RJs, right from RJ HSC to RJ E1C. And you can see there are multiple varieties of LEDs that are available. There are multiple combinations that are available on the left as well as the right. We also have bicolor LEDs, and we also have series with a light pipe where the LEDs are mounted on the PCB, and you want the signal to be on the front of the RJ fascia. One important thing here is that we have a very unique design for the high temperature LEDs. whenever the customer is requesting for a IR reflow process and he wants the LEDs to be compatible with a high temperature, we have specifically designed a high temperature LED, which kind of gives you a reliability of around 99%. The general failure rate of the LEDs in the IR reflow can be as low as 5, as high as 50% if we use a standard LED. And that is the reason why we offer a specific LED for the high temp IR reflow applications. The details are that in the earlier design, it's a simple anode and cathode design with a bonded wire. But in the current design, we are using a chip type LED, which is mounted on the anode and cathode. This chip can withstand up to 10 reflow cycles and with no failures. That is the reason why the bonded wire has now replaced the chip type LED with robust solder joints. That's one of the pioneered features of what Amphenol has been pioneering this particular design in the market. So that was all about standard RJs. Now we move on to the high performance RJs. Now, all the features of the standard RJs, be it the housing, be it the shielding, LEDs, all are carried forward to the high performance RJs. What makes the high performance RJ special is the contact assembly design. But first of all, let's understand why it is required. So the high performance RJs, as I said, are required where the network speeds and the data rates are very, very high. Amphenol, as you know, is a market leader in the high performance RJs, and we exceed the specification for the near and the far end crosstalk, the return losses, insertion losses, and various other parameters. We offer not only just RJs in single port, but we also offer multi-port, stacked port, as well as combinational ports, that is RJ over a USB-C, etc. What makes a high performance RJ of Amphenol different is the patented technology that we use of using an integrated PCB. So if you see the bottom side of the RJ, we have a PCB that is mounted at the bottom, and the contact assembly is mounted on this PCB. So what happens is we get a very good signal performance, a very good signal integrity because of this particular PCB. A bigger benefit that a customer gets is that the footprint of this connector, if we move from a Cat5e to a Cat6, or from a Cat6 to a Cat6a, the footprint doesn't change. So tomorrow, if any customer wants to change his application from a Cat5e to a Cat6 or a Cat6a, he doesn't have to change the PCB. He only needs to change the RJ. And it's only a family extension. So for example, we have a RJE58 family, which is Cat5e. It just moves to RJE59 for a Cat6 and RJE60 for a Cat6a. It's as simple as that. What changes in the PCB is the layers of the PCB, which kind of gives us a better performance as we move up the performance categories. This is the overall range that we have in the high performance series. We have a standard profile, a narrow profile, a low profile, and an ultra low profile. So we have 4 different types in a through hole. We have a vertical series, which is available in one particular profile. We have stacked, as well as we have a surface mount. And along with that, as I said, we have a combinational RJ in the high speed, which is a USB over a Type-C. Along with this, we have extended our portfolio with a combinational connectors as well, with RJ playing a major role. Combinational connectors are mainly RJ along with a USB-C. It might be RJ over a HDMI, RJ over 2 USB-Cs, or the latest launch that we have is the 5-in-1 connector, wherein at the top you see 2 RJ connectors. At the bottom, the one with the LED is the RJ mag, and along with that, it comes with a USB-A and a USB-C. Why is this 5-in-1 connector designed? The reason being for console ports or programming ports, wherein you have an application where you have multiple programming and storage ports, and you want to combine them all into one connector so as to save some PCB real estate, as well as some soldering. If you have like 5 different products on your BOM, there'll be 5 different soldering that you need to do. Here, you just need to solder one product. So that gives you a saving in time, space, as well as a lot of money. So that was all about RJ receptacles. We also have RJ cable assemblies that are used along with the RJ receptacles. We have RJ cables, a simple patch cords, or you can say Ethernet cables ranging from Cat3 to a Cat8. Cat8 was a recent launch, which can handle data up to 40 gigs. These cables are planned to be made in India by the end of this year. Both we have both side plugged, we have one side plug, one side pigtail options, as well as we have multiple plug orientations. You can have a straight plug, you can have a 90-degree plug. We have all 7 color available at the moment, but if you have any particular color that customer wants, we can always look into it. All these cable assemblies are custom made for length. We have some standard lengths available at the moment with distribution, but if you want any particular customized length, we can always do that. We have shielded, unshielded, and overmolded, all the categories possible. In terms of jackets of the cable, we have a standard of PVC jacket, but we can always do a PUR or a low smoke zero halogen or a plenum or non-plenum rated jacket. When it comes to flexibility and customizations, let me tell you that we as a BU are very flexible when it comes to smaller modifications. Like if a customer wants, if we have a standard design with tabs on all the 4 sides, as you can see on the image on the right, and if the customer doesn't want the side tabs, we can always make sure that we have some modifications done on our tooling. Also, the tail lengths, which are typically governed by the thickness of the PCB. If the customer wants any particular tail length which is not available in the standard offering, we can always look into offering something non-standard. So we are pretty flexible to customize as per the customer requirement. Along with modular jacks, we also have magnetic jacks. Of course, this particular product belongs to a different BU under Amphenol, but I just wanted to show you that we do have magnetic jacks which are available right up to 10 gigs. Along with magnetic jacks, we also have discrete magnetics that are available. This also is under a different BU, but as these magnetics come as a as an accessory to RJ or RJ Mag, I thought of putting this together for you so that you know that this is available with Amphenol. This is our automation line. Currently, it's in Shenzhen, China. We will be moving to India soon. And we produce over 40 million parts per month. And we have around, you can see 15 different automation lines currently available. As our BU is headquartered in Toronto, we have our fully equipped test lab here, and which we nearly do almost all the environmental and the electromechanical testing. This is a huge variety of tests that we are carrying out on all our connectors to ensure that we give you 100% tested and a high quality product. All the RJs of Amphenol are on the Amphenol website. The link is given here on my slide. And along with that, we have a 24/7 live chat support from our tech support team. If you have any questions, concerns, you need any particular drawings, or you have any questions on the product specs, you are always welcome to talk to our tech support guys. If you have any sample requests or you need any particular test reports, you can also put that request here. And that's all from my side. Thank you so much, and I'll be glad to answer any questions. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you, Nishad. And I do have a question for you. Which are the applications for which use for the individual performance categories? Namely, like the Cat 3.5, the Cat 5e, the Cat 6, and the Cat 6a.
Thank you so much for asking that question, Greta. It's a great question. Typically for a Cat 3 or a Cat 5, the application is more something like a POS terminal or a consumer electronic product or a medical equipment product, wherein the bandwidth required is only 100 or 1000 megabits per second, wherein the cable lengths are pretty short. But for a higher performance, that is a Cat 5e or a Cat 6 or a Cat 6a, I would typically go with a network switch or a data center or even a smart TV for that matter, wherein the bandwidth required is more than like 2.5 gigs. And the cable lengths are pretty long, like around 100 meters or so. So that's where the applications are designed for. Yeah.
Thank you. And what is the application of combinational RJ connectors, especially the 5-in-1 connector?
Yeah, thanks for asking that question. I will give you a live example for that. So there was a customer who is designing a particular UPS equipment, UPS being an uninterruptible power supply. And he has 5 different ports wherein he uses these ports to program the device in the first place, and secondly, store some data and retrieve some data from the device. So he required 2 RJs, 1 RJ mag, and 2 USB ports for the storage. Typically, these ports are mainly for him to program the particular device, and he wants to spend as much as low space as possible and as much less money as possible on these 5 ports. So that is the reason why the 5-in-1 connector comes into picture, wherein he just uses one connector to give a facility of all the 5 connectors that he's going to use on his BOM. And when it comes to soldering, he has to just solder one connector. That's it. And he doesn't have to worry about the other 4, because what we have seen is that the board real estate that he used has been reduced by around 30%. That's the kind of saving that he can do on a physical device when he uses a 5-in-1 connector. Similarly, when it comes to switches, there are many management ports on a switch, and there are many data transfer ports on the switch. The data transfer ports are something that the switch manufacturer's customer is going to use, but the management port is mainly to just manage the switch. And in that case, the lesser space and lesser cost we spend on that, it's more profitable for the customer. So that's the reason why we have this 5-in-1 connector.
Thank you for sharing that, Nishad. And why is there an overlap of 10G performance levels in Cat 6 and Cat 6A?
The main difference is on the operating frequency and the length of the cable. So if you look closely, for Cat 6, if you want the data of 10 gigs to go over 55 meters for a 250 megahertz frequency, you can use a Cat 6 connector. So that's enough. But if you actually want a higher frequency of around 500 megahertz, and if you want to send it over 100 meters of cable, then you have to go for a Cat 6A. So there is an overlap, just to ensure that if the application is designed for a lower frequency and a lower cable length, we can still use a Cat 6 that can give a 10 gig performance.
Okay, thank you. And which jacket materials are available in Amphenol RJ cables, and are the lengths customizable?
There are different jackets available. The most widely used, and I would say the standard jacket that we offer, is the PVC ROHS compliant jacket. But along with that, we also offer LSZH, that is low smoke zero halogen jacket. We also offer a PUR jacket, polyurethane. We also have plenum and non-plenum jackets available, which are used mainly for outdoor RJ cables. Along with that, if the customer wants any particular jacket material or a jacket which can sustain a particular temperature category, we are open to discuss that. It's totally custom made.
Thank you, Nishad. And does Amphenol build RJ cable harnesses as well?
Oh, excellent question. Yes, we do. We have a division which makes, like our division itself makes RJ harnesses. RJ harnesses are nothing but like 20 or 30 odd RJ cables looped in together, especially used in server rack applications. They give a benefit to the customer because it kind of replaces the old school point-to-point wiring with just take one harness and just plug both the ends. So it kind of reduces the speed, reduces the labor, and reduces the time as well.
Thank you, Nishad. That was great. That is all that we have for you today. If you do have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to Nishad or myself. Thank you for joining us and learning more about ACPA's RJ Mod Jack connectors and cable assemblies with Nishad Dravid. We hope you have a great rest of your day.